Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. I'm with Mr. Wolf, and Wolfie, there's a lot of news out today and some interesting stories. Now, of course, we're not suggesting to buy this market at the moment, and our general feeling is, like we said, we're having a little bit of a bounce, but we still feel we're going lower. So it's just going to be a really very hard market over the next, say, month and a half. To have a short-term approach, look to get into stock and think you're going to make money. It's not gonna happen. But what there will be is opportunities, and we're going to start with 5 stocks today that have reported that aren't particularly trending very well. But we think you should get these 5 stocks on your watch list, and just watch them carefully over obviously the next month and a half, and possibly look to, if you like the story, look to accumulate some of them on weakness. So Wolf, we're gonna have a look at these stories, and we're gonna start from the top. So the first one is ALC. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when we put this on at 6 cents, and it's been fantastic for us. Really, it's nearly been uh nearly been a 10 bag, hasn't it? But it's down. It's been as high as 45 cents. It's down at 25. And of course, they raised a lot of money at 25, so it sort of destroys the charting a little bit for us. And it's back at 25 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of the announcement, and what would give you encouragement, Wolf, to accumulate this story over in weakness?
Look, I'm looking for consistency from these companies that we're going to be looking today. So in other words, growth, continuous. Looking at, of course, a positive outlook out there, and a story that we feel that we could probably make some money over, say, the longer term. So it might not be an overnight bounce, but we got to have to set ourselves for the next, say, at least 12 months to 3 years. So with ALC's, their report today was, pretty good by all accounts. Really nothing in there to suggest the big, strong share price drop, which normally, when you see a price action like that, you think, oh my God, something's going on with the company. But of course, we can definitely now allocate that to just the market's dynamics plus the capital raising that they had. So, they sort of fix the criteria of company sold down, it's had a great chum run, come down significantly. You want to pick up a very good company that's growing its revenues and hopefully will start growing its bottom line for the long term. So this definitely ticks a lot of boxes.
Wolf, when you look at it, you can see the trend lines coming down. So what could possibly happen? And yes, we've had a little bit of a bump up today, but okay, the announcement came out. Tomorrow that's forgotten, and it'll go back into the stock will go most probably back into that sort of the general market, which will move with the market. So what I'm imagining will happen is that this trend line will come down over the next month and a half, and possibly there'll be a time of maybe 27 cents when it jumps over that trend line, which maybe be the sign the market's starting to hit a bottom and the stock's starting to move again. So it's a little bit too soon yet, but there's a chance I think we can buy this on weakness above trend. Hopefully, we'll sometime in the next month and a half.
Yeah, so it makes my watch list, at least the very least, to have a look at, right?
Oh, definitely. SES, Wolf, talk about their announcement, because this is a stock in a very difficult climate. It's actually held trend very, very well.
It has, and the reason for that is they've actually coming up with some still decent results and updates in a very difficult trading market. Not just the volatility of the market, but the supply, demand, and the chain issues, right? The chain supply issues, and they're still talking about that. That is still problematic, but still they come up with some growth this half. And the other thing is they said they're going to have a very strong second half. So I presumably we're going to see some better maybe price action towards the second half of the year. Hence, for me, this again makes the list of I'd be probably nibbling at this at some point.
All right, definitely, Wolf. And if you're in it at the moment, it's obviously a hold, and it's holding trend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Next off at CAB, I want to talk about PLT, because again, their announcement was absolutely superb.
Yeah, look, when you talk about, and always looking for growth, right? And when you find a company that's growing at 100%, you really normally would have in your portfolio. But the market's just completely, I don't know, it's just not interested in their stories at the moment. This space also. So I think it will, one day the market will again wake up, as long as the companies can maintain that growth trajectory and maybe demonstrate that they can actually make a profit, right? That's probably maybe one of the keys that the market's looking for, because when you see what's happening in the US, the sell-off and the rotation, it's actually punishing those stocks that have strong growth, but unprofitable, and it might not take a profit for another 10 years. So maybe that's the reason why some of these stories, some of these sectors are not looking so favorable at the moment. So you've got to have patience. I'm at least seeing good top line growth from the company. So that's a big box tick. But, I'd obviously have to see and wait until the market warms up to this whole space again, which is not at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely. And again, the trend line's starting to come down. So, possibly over the next month and a half, this is down to this 120 or maybe 118, and it jumps above there. It's only a few percent away, and maybe that'll be our time to get back in it.
Yep.
But again, obviously a good story fundamentally, just looking obviously oversold.
Yep.
PMV.
Yes.
Now, they have slightly dipped below trend. Now, this is a bigger story, Wolf. There is a lot of support at 26, where it sort of traded June, July, August last year. It did have a nice little run up September, October, November. What's your feeling on that story?
Look, it's almost like if you're looking for something in retail, and we've seen a number of companies, we talked about them earlier this week and last week, they are getting absolutely hammered because the honeymoon's over pretty much for the COVID growth, right? Online COVID growth. However, PMV is bucking the trend here. They still come up with some sort of growth in this particular, I suppose, environment. So you've got to give management a big pat on the back, and you think to yourself, paying a 4.5% div, a company that's navigating absolutely beautifully through any obstacles that get thrown at it. It is, I think, like the name suggests, Dave, I think this is a premier stock in this space. Premier Investors, a premier retailer. I'd be looking to accumulate this for sure. Put a cheeky bid on a 26.
Well, they've got Smiggles, which is very popular, and children, all the kids are going back to school, and obviously they got Peter Alexander, the pajama company.
I buy my pajamas from.
It's what you're wearing now, by the looks of it. But yeah. So Wolf, they've got some good stuff. So I think we just play as we always do by the CTM. I mean, if we can get over 28, it's maybe worth having a look at.
Yeah, definitely one of the better ones. Top of the list.
Oh, good stuff, Wolf. And lastly but not least, stories that you like that came out of good announcements. 360.
Yeah.
Now it's down by half, nearly, Wolf, from where it was a month and a half ago. Okay, I accept the fact that maybe it ran a little bit too hard.
You think?
But at the time, you could argue, is it still expensive where it is?
Look, it depends what the market's view of expensive is these days, right? It's we don't know yet. It's still sort of unraveling, and we're going to find out probably in about 6 months' time. But halving from where it was before definitely makes it much more attractive. And when you compare it maybe to some other stories in this space, it doesn't look too expensive, right? And then you look at the growth itself, and it's really most organic growth. They've bought a couple of companies recently, but they're still separated and talked about organic growth. They're moving into the US as well as another listing. So you've got a story that's really kicking a lot of goals and ticks a lot of boxes for me. So again, I put it on my watch list and wait for the right moment opportunity. Remember also, Dave, it's been really smashed by the capital raising, just like some of the other stocks that we looked at. So yeah, it is just.
Well, it's even, but that capital raising was at $12, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now it's down at $7.
So look, at least what a great timing for the capital raising, right?
Yeah, no, you've got to give them that. They did it very, very well.
Yeah.
Wolf, again, an exciting story, a good announcement. As soon as we can get this back above trend, we'll try and
Win.
buy it. And at the moment, it certainly hasn't jumped back above trend, has it? So the market's still, although it's up 1% today, it's still not jumping into the stock on that announcement.
No.
Right. So I think we want to focus on those stocks today. Those are the 5 stocks that we thought came out of really good announcements. And if they can start trending, we'll certainly, or not trending, but just get back into a positive part of the charts. We're certainly interested in having a look at those, and we'd be recommending them as possibly a buy. Wolf, I'm going to go quickly through these stories because they've all put out announcements today. Oz4X, holding trend. If I was in it, I'd be holding it. So, what did you make of Oz4X?
Yeah, again, good numbers. They've recently updated. They are going better than their own guidance. So, upgrades looking pretty good. Came up with a decent result today. Still trending. I'd still probably hold it. Unless you're a short-term trader, you're making a profit, maybe take a profit. Look, it's a difficult market. So, when I'm trading short-term stuff, when I see a profit, I'll probably take it.
All right, you've got Gin. What's happening there?
Not my company. I'm not a fan of that company at the moment. But they bought a business in the UK. That's where they've been expanding to. So let's hope it works for them.
Kogan.
Poor is all you can say. However, now it's been so smashed that I think value is starting to emerge. so eventually the circle will turn again, Dave. So the tide will turn, and we're going to be looking at this as another trade somewhere along the line. I'm not sure whether it's going to be towards the second half of the year or not, but at the moment we still got that nasty feel about it. But it's not a bad company. It's run pretty well by Mr. Kogan. So we'll see what happens over the next 12 months.
Yeah, the bones are there. They've got the database. They've got the sales.
Exactly.
Just having a tough time. OZL. Down slightly, Wolf. Just obviously the gold price was a little bit down, but you quite like the report.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I don't think I've been really surprised on the downside from any of the miners at the moment. You shouldn't be because of the prices that they are generating, commodity prices. So look, another one that's okay for me. Just wait for it to turn again, probably swing.
CTT. It is above trend, but it looks very flat to me at the moment, sideways. So I wouldn't be buying it at the moment, Wolf. But what did you make of the announcement?
Yeah, look, it's just talking about moving into I think the beauty space, cosmetic space, which is a huge area. And this is upper echelon, the L'Oreals of the world and so on. So we'll see what happens.
And a story that we like, a story that we've actually traded with this and done really well with it. I mean, still holding above trend. But just in the tech space, so that obviously scares you to get in at the moment. But one for the future, Wolf, still.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's in a really good space at the moment. The M&A space provides the software. So again, at the right place at the right time. It's come up with a decent result. It's trending still, but it's a tech stock, so there's two forces fighting against each other. So it's going to be difficult to see where it goes next.
XF1. You know what? I actually had this on Einstein. So I mean, there was a breakout. I thought, well, something must be going on. Gets sold down, and a very, very good announcement today, Wolf.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I have to say, they are on a roll. And when you actually look at it, I had a look at it in a bit more detail the other day, and had a read through. And what maybe is attractive to me, not the fact that they're in this employment space where maybe it's positive for them. It's the fact they've got a very different model to everyone else. It's not the old. Well, not when I say old at the moment. It's not the old software as a service. It's more they sell tokens, and whenever somebody needs it, they use the token to actually use the services, which is a very different model to what everyone else is using. So maybe is this the future, Dave? I don't know. I mean, this is quite interesting from that point of view. New model, it's working.
All right. If you're in it, then hold it. I still, for all those people interested in trending short term, in this environment, any trending is very difficult. But obviously, if you're more long term, I think it looks like you'd be holding it. CTM Wolf, again, this company's holding trend very, very well. So,
if you like nickel, certainly you'd be probably looking at this as a nickel player. It's still in its its exploration slash development phase. So it's a probably long way if it ever gets up in Brazil, because we know how tough it is to actually get a mine up going in Brazil. But anyway, the results today were very, very good and very consistent. So you've got 10, 20, 30 meters at 1% nickel, within 100 meters. Some of them are a little bit deeper, but then you've got higher grades. So all up, looking very good.
SOM. What did you make of the announcement? Now it's below trend, Wolf, so obviously it's not so technically interesting. But is this one?
More time, I think this one, Dave.
A little bit more time, yeah. Okay. And next one off the list was CIA. Now, what did you make of their announcement?
Yeah, look pretty good. I mean, the biggest thing for me was the dividends. The first inaugural dividend they're going to pay 10 cents. It's not nothing huge, but at least they feel comfortable enough to start paying dividends, which augurs well for the future, especially when they're talking about, Bloom Lake Part 2, Phase 2, being completed by the close of calendar year 2022. So you're gonna have a company with almost production that's going to maybe double from here over the next couple of years.
All right. Hello. What's this story?
Too early, Dave. I think it's a decent story. It's in that hotel accommodation leisure space. I like it from the fact is that we used to play one of these companies. I can't remember the name in this space that was taken over. So maybe this is like a replacement for us to play with, but just give it a bit more time. Not a bad announcement today, by the way.
And EM2 came out with their quarterly, which is more or less sort of a mishmash of all their results recently.
Yep.
On that note, is that everything, Wolf?
Let me see. I think so. Look, there's plenty of other results in there. Of course, we're not going to cover all of them, but so far, not too bad reporting from the quarterlies that we hope they're going to report well, and they did. So that's okay. It's just the markets, unfortunately. So we're making lists at the moment. We're making lists. So Dave, this is what the probably strategy is. Any bounce I see on the market at the moment, I'm selling the stuff that I'm not liking in my portfolio still, and making a list of the stuff I am going to buy on some really opportune times.
I think that's very, very important, is actually just how we're seeing the market. We've said we believe it's going to go down low over the next month and a half. So what you're doing right now, Wolf, if you're getting a few stocks that you're not that keen on, they're bouncing, and I think there are a few people who said, oh, I'm down to 10 or 15%, and we said it's not too late, but if they're bouncing, maybe they're down a little bit less. It's interesting to get, what you're doing is getting selling some of those stories, getting that money into cash.
Yep.
So you can take advantage of the sale sometime in the next month and a half, if it happens. Hopefully it will. You all these stocks like ALC, SES, PLT, all these stocks that have come out with good announcements, you're going to look for them as a possible bargain sometime in the next month and a half.
Correct.
All right. On that note, guys, that's how we're playing the market at the moment here at Equity Story. And thank you for listening to us.
Cheers, guys.
Bye. Bye.